What's up, everybody? Welcome to, it's a bit different for us to say, a Stock Sharks cryptocurrency webinar. We're mainly going to be talking about DeFi. I have Eduardo here. He's been a member with us for a very long time, and me and him have been working on a side project that we're going to be announcing live very soon. But today I thought I'd introduce him to the Stock Sharks community and everybody else who follows us, because he's going to give us a walkthrough, great little PDF presentation that he has here on decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to sit back, shut up, and enjoy and learn with you guys. So introduce yourself. Who are you? What you've been working on, what you do, why I pay attention to you, et cetera, et cetera. Floor is yours, man.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. Of course, it's a pleasure to work with you and to listen to all your advices in all this world of investing. And of course, you've been one of the best mentors I've ever had. So I appreciate.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'm Eduardo Garcia. I'm from Mexico. I'm currently on the United States. I'm finishing college. This is my last semester of the finance degree. So I'm just trying to get through this last step. I also play tennis for the school team. I play tennis here in NCAA college. So it's been a great ride through my university. And I mean, I got into cryptocurrencies on, I think it was 2017, 2018 summer. I went to Paris to a summer camp in a nice school. My brother got a scholarship and he couldn't go, so luckily they let me take his scholarship. So that was very lucky from my side. So I mean, and in that summer I really got into blockchain, and I really like the idea of decentralization and like these innovations that this technology is proposing. So yes, well, I've been into this, and I'm an investor in cryptos for the past year and a half. So right now I have my portfolio, and I keep track of different projects that I really enjoy. And we also have here Marco Muñoz. He's the CEO of Blockchain Academy Mexico. He's also been one of my mentors in all this blockchain topic, and he has taught me a lot. So he will be here to just make sure everything's on track, right? So I appreciate Marco being here. So well, let's get started. What are we gonna see on the webinar? The main questions we're trying to answer with this presentation is what is blockchain technology? What is decentralized finance? What are the main advantages of DeFi? What are the potential cases or use cases for DeFi? And what challenges does DeFi face today? And what is the difference between DeFi and open banking? I hope I'm able to explain everything correctly, and you guys can understand and take value from this couple of minutes that we're gonna be sharing with you. Well, first of all, the main thing, what's blockchain? Because I mean, DeFi and cryptos are made on the blockchain technology. A lot of people think that Bitcoin is different. Bitcoin is just a currency, or it's a coin, but a lot of people don't understand that Bitcoin is just a use case that is built on top of the blockchain, right? So what's blockchain? It's a set of technologies that create public decentralized systems backed by computers. They call them nodes in crypto languages, nodes around the world in charge of processing, validating, and storing all the information being transacted. So what does blockchain permits and allows? It permits transactions to be gathered into blocks and recorded. These records that are being created go to a public ledger that can be accessed by all the participants on the network and by different servers, right? So it also allows participants to agree on the true state of the ledger. So this means that this creates a consensus between all the participants and the nodes that are on the blockchain, and this create this consensus that makes it secure. It makes the network secure. This ledger is divided into cryptographic chains, chain blocks in chronological order. So this means, like an example is, imagine there's an Excel spreadsheet, and each transaction issues a code. This code is called a hash, and each transaction generates one hash. So this hash is posted on this Excel spreadsheet that is the ledger, and this ledger it's distributed in all the nodes that are participating on the network. So this blockchain basically is a set of technologies that include cryptography to make it really hard to hack. It's peer-to-peer, so basically most of the times the main thing about blockchain is to eliminate intermediaries, right? So it's peer-to-peer, so it makes nodes transact with each other. So that makes it peer-to-peer. It's on a distributed ledger, so meaning that all the info it's distributed around all the network, all the nodes that are participating, and this creates a consensus protocol, right? So everybody agrees about the true state of the ledger, right? And that creates this consensus. So this is creating a lot of new financial services and not only financial services, right? Blockchain could be used for many different industries, such as supply chain, ID validation, record keeping, etc. Right? But today we're gonna focus more on the technology and more into the financial aspect of it, that it's called decentralized finance. And when did this technology start? The creators of it were the cypherpunks, right? So this community was backed by many interesting people, such as Eric Hughes, that was one of the most influential people in this movement, and this was the cypherpunk manifesto, right? So the main thing and the main problem that they wanted to solve was the privacy, that the data should be private and the data should be in hands of the people that provide the data, right?
You can see it. Let's move on to more so of the structure, how it works, and let's get into like the process of like exactly stuff like this, and then the assets that people are going to be trading.
Perfect. Well, let's go to the ledger, right? So as I told you, there's this ledger that is stored in all the nodes in the network, and we're gonna be comparing the centralized ledger versus the distributed ledger that the blockchain is providing, right? So the centralized ledger is a financial system, the traditional financial system as we know it. It has multiple layers. So basically, the bank holds the golden record, right? So the bank holds all these multiple layers, and he has the control of all the information, and it's centralized, right? So this is how it works. Clients must reconcile their own ledger against that of the bank, and must convince bank of the true state of the bank ledger. If discrepancies arise, then the clients have to make sure the bank knows about this discrepancy and try to solve them, right, through different calls, different methods. So what blockchain is providing is this distributed layer, right? So it's one layer where different nodes are interconnected, and all of these nodes have the same level of access to that ledger. So the nodes agree to the protocol that determines the true state of the ledger at any point of time. So this creates the consensus, and this validates all the transactions between the different nodes. And the correct application of this ledger, this validation, this consensus between the nodes will achieve the consensus of the true state of the ledger, right? So this
So in regards to the bank, are you talking about a central bank, or are you talking about a consumer bank or an investment bank, or is it just a bank in general?
Yeah, just a bank in general, traditional banking. Just the main idea here is that they have all the centralized information, and they have all the records, and I mean the clients have to go to the bank and depend on the bank on the different transactions, right?
Awesome. All right, cool. Let's go next one.
Well, so how the transaction process works in the blockchain, because in the blockchain, as I told you, it works to transact value and make it secure by the different sets of the technology. So basically, the user.
There's no insurance on it, right?
Yeah, there's insurance too. It's one of the use cases that are very interesting at this point.
Okay, we'll come back to the insurance, and I'll love to hear your guest's take on that as well, because one of the main insurance that banks have behind them is military. But we'll come back to that. Keep talking about the transaction process.
Perfect. Well, so basically the transaction process on the blockchain works this way. Users initiate transactions using their digital signatures. Their digital signatures are available through different wallets, digital wallets, and they start the transaction in this wallet. Then the transactions are broadcasted to the nodes, so they send it to all the nodes participating on the blockchain. And then one or more nodes are begin to validate this information. And then the nodes that are validating, they aggregate the validated transaction into the blocks. And then when they validate the information more than one node, then the nodes are broadcast to the blocks to each other. So this information is validated, and they make sure that it's the consensus. Different validators agree with this set of transactions that are written in the block, and then the block reflects the true state of the transactions, right? And then this block is immutable because different nodes are agreeing with all the transactions being made into the blockchain. So all these transactions are backed by cryptography, and then this cryptography allows security, and the security
Is that where crypto comes in, cryptocurrency?
Exactly. It's basically because it's all backed by cryptography. Everything is written in code, so you need very powerful computers and very powerful nodes to solve these complex cryptographic codes and then validate the transactions. So basically, how it works in cryptocurrencies, then, as I told you, that the process of the transaction starts, the initiation and broadcasting of the transaction, and then this starts with the digital signature. So whenever you have a decentralized wallet, we're going to see that in some minutes. There's different types of wallets, centralized or decentralized, right? We're focusing on the decentralized because that's the main purpose of the blockchain. So when you initiate this transaction, then you have private and public keys that allow you to have control of your assets. Whether in centralized exchanges, you don't have these private keys. So they say not your keys, not your coins. That's what they say on crypto, that it's so much better to have your own private and public keys, because if you have it in a centralized exchange, then that means that you don't have your private keys, and the exchange is in control of your assets. And there's always a possibility that the exchange gets hacked, or the exchange, there are many vulnerabilities, or a hacker just targets this exchange that has a lot of funds, a lot of liquidity, and this just creates a point of failure, right? So it's better to have this decentralized wallet. And then
that's a very common thing, right? That's been happening. There's been a few exchanges that have been hacked. So what you're essentially saying is having that wallet, does that help with that, or does it not?
Yes, exactly. So the best thing to do with your crypto is to have a decentralized wallet. One example is very secure. It's MetaMask. MetaMask is one of the most trusted wallets out there. And also, I mean, you've seen the USBs, like the ones that look like USBs, that it's a cold storage. So you can just...
Yeah, cold storage, cold storage, right?
And then you can just put your assets in the cold storage, and that's the most secure way that to keep your cryptos.
But you got to remember your password, because there's also tons of people who are losing.
Exactly, yeah. So whenever you create a wallet, then this wallet gives you like a seed phrase. So these are 12 words in a specific order that this allows you to, in case you lose your ledger, or in case you lose you don't remember your password, then this 12 seed phrase will help you to recover your account, right? So it's very important to keep this 12 seed phrase in a very secure place, that you just have access to it, because if somebody has access to this phrase, then your funds may be compromised and they could steal your funds, right? So it's very important to have the security of that. So as I told you, each transaction creates a hash. So this hash is the main cryptographic aspect of cryptos, and the hashes are sent to all the nodes around the network, and the nodes have to validate this transaction, and the one that finds the code and approves the transactions, this is called the mining process, and then they are able to validate the transaction, and they get a reward for mining and validating the transaction to the block. So it's very important that to see that this is one aspect of the set of the technologies. It's made on in cryptographic, and that makes it more secure. So one of the most important things is the consensus. As I told you, the network effect of all the nodes connected into the blockchain, and this is called the distributed layers. And these distributed layers can be used for many different things. And as I tell you here, they can be used without a central authority by individuals or entities with no basis to trust each other. So just peer-to-peer transactions made through the blockchain using all the cryptographic aspects that are available in the networks. You can also create value or issue assets. You can also transfer value or the ownership of assets. A human being or a smart contract can initiate the transfer, right? So we're gonna see a little bit more about smart contracts and what are smart contracts in the next slide. But the next use case are to record those transfers of value or ownership of assets, very difficult to alter, sometimes called effectively immutable, right? So the transfers of value of ownership are very difficult to alter because this information is stored in all the nodes, in all the computers, and that makes it effectively immutable, right? So to have to change one transaction, you have to change the whole network, the whole transactions that are stored in all the networks. So it's very difficult to do that, right? It also allows owners of assets to exercise specific rights associated with ownership and to record the exercise of those rights. So there are different types of tokens, and some of them allow the owners of the tokens different specific set of rights into a network, right? So
yes, and speaking of tokens, there are different types of tokens. I hope you're going to touch on the most popular one that's going around, non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, that's a completely different topic, but we can touch a little bit about that. Talk about a little bit how NFTs are just changing the way we store and we create.
Are you guys fans of NFTs?
I rather invest in the tokens that are using all these NFTs, because I don't know a lot about which specific piece of art is gonna be worth more, right? So there's popular projects right now, but I rather invest on the specific tokens and specific coins than on the specific arts. I don't know if Mark has any NFTs.
Chime in, guys, if you have anything to say on NFTs, then we'll go to the next slide.
Mark, do you own any NFTs? ¿Eres dueño de algún NFT?
I have a couple of CryptoKitties. Those were the first NFTs in the ecosystem, and there are a couple of them that still cheap.
That's a CryptoKitty, you said. What's a CryptoKitty for those who are unaware?
So I'm gonna show you here the project. So yeah, they are e-cats, electronic cats that you can collect, and depending on each piece of art, the value it's first, right? So there's some crypto cats that are worth a lot of money, and there's some crypto cats that are basically useless, and that depends on the demand. Like this, where the NFTs work, it's the same thing as all the markets, supply and demand. There's a little bit, some of them, there are just one piece of art, and this one piece of art is backed by the blockchain. Each piece of art has their own code, so that makes it
and this art, the reason why we're talking about is these are attached to the blockchain, and these transactions are being done. So on that slide that you were previously talking about, this is how essentially anything can be transacted onto the blockchain, and what the different use cases are for, and why it kind of breaks the barriers. For example, most art is usually done behind an auction or some type of huge auction house. Now you're seeing, as you just saw, it may sound crazy to some, those CryptoKitties. If you don't mind me asking, how much is a CryptoKitty going for? A top one or a medium one?
I mean, there are CryptoKitties ranging from $50 to $10,000, $20,000, right? So And I think there's a lot more expensive. Like, I don't know if you've seen the NBA Top Shot NFT cards. Some of them are going for $80,000, $100,000, and it's just crazy how these NFTs are just getting a lot of attention, a lot of.
Now, do smart contracts have a role to play in that?
Yes. So
let's talk about that. Your next slide.
In this slide, just the main idea is that the distributed layers can be used for many different purposes. That creates an ecosystem, and that a lot of possibilities available through this ecosystem. So let's go to the main topic, that it's going to be DeFi. And well, first of all, what's DeFi? DeFi, basically, it's an alternative financial infrastructure built on the top of Ethereum blockchain. Right now, more or less.
Why wasn't it built on the Bitcoin blockchain? Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, the difference between both blockchains is that Ethereum was made specifically to be programmable. So it's very hard to code or manipulate the Bitcoin blockchain, because as we know, there's different blockchains. There's not just one blockchain. So we have the Ethereum blockchain and we have the Bitcoin blockchain. So on the Ethereum blockchain is more programmable, so you can build on top of the Ethereum blockchain through basic coding, right? Solidity, JavaScript, etc. So to create and build on top of the Bitcoin blockchain, it's a lot harder than to build on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's why most of the DeFi applications are built on top of Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum has...
Are NFTs on Ethereum?
Yes, most of them are on Ethereum right now. There's different platforms, such as different blockchains, such as Tron, such as Harmony Protocol, that are different types of blockchains and different layer.
What's the worst blockchain in your opinion?
I mean, it's
just... I'd like your other friends' opinions too, if they want to chime in. What's the worst one?
Well, I think that to answer that question, we have to say worst for what, because there are a lot of thoughts around that. For example, Bitcoin is useful for payments, and Ethereum is useful for smart contracts. So maybe it depends of the context and what are you trying to use a blockchain.
Fair answer. It's a smart answer. I really like that answer, because it'd be like, what's the worst bank out there? Well, one bank is good at one thing, one bank is good at the other. It's hard to say. So yeah, I respect that answer. I'll let you keep going.
In fact, that's exactly what I wanted to say, because like every blockchain has like its own niche, no? So like Tron is more like media and everything, and Ethereum is more for contracts, and Bitcoin is more like for exchanging things. So I think that in the future or right now, the interesting thing is that you have to put attention like in which thing each blockchain is specializing. So you have to understand it, and if it goes your way, it's gonna be a good choice for you.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect explanation. Each blockchain, it works for different things, and some of the blockchains are bad for some things. It just depends on what specific purpose and application you want to deploy or use in each blockchain, right? So, well, yeah. So right now, most of the DeFi protocols and applications are built on top of Ethereum, because it's one of the most secure and most programmable blockchains at the moment. The only issue right now about the Ethereum blockchain that we're going to see it on the challenges are the gas fees that are incrementing pretty much because the high demand of transactions. So basically, DeFi uses smart contracts to create protocols that replicate existing financial services in a more open, interoperable, and transparent way. So basically, DeFi also allows an open, permissionless, and highly interoperable protocol stack built on public smart contract platforms. This is based on open protocols and decentralized applications. These decentralized applications are also known as dApps, and these are agreements between consumers and providers of services, right? And these agreements are enforced by code written on the smart contracts, and the transactions are executed in a secure and verifiable way, because it helps with the consensus around the different nodes, and you can track all these transactions that are happening through these smart contracts.
Okay, so this may sound very like a very ignorant question, but is DeFi sort of the payment alternative on the Ethereum to say compete with blockchain? I know they're not companies competing against each other, but is that sort of how it's perceived?
No, it's completely different.
Okay, I'm
DeFi, DeFi,
done.
DeFi just tries to use traditional financial services and build applications in top of the blockchain using smart contracts, right? So we're gonna see the different use cases. There's
Okay, great.
also,
This is what I want to see here. This is the beauty. This is the money right here.
yeah, but there's different types of services that are being
Are
provided.
any major financial institutions using DeFi or starting to use them?
Well, I think JP Morgan, in my opinion. I don't know, Mark, if you know any big institution that right now it's using DeFi. I mean, Square is it's using a type of decentralized finance. I mean, they are offering the transaction of Bitcoins, but this is centralized, right? So remember, we're trying the main purpose of the blockchain is to decentralize all
Okay.
that, right?
I'm sorry for another ignorant question. I know I'm asking a lot. There was something that was popular 2-3 years ago. It was like called like the lightning rod network. Do you remember that? Did that fade and go away?
The Lightning, the Bitcoin Lightning network.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean they are still trying it out, building on top of the Lightning network. I mean they
So
are
I
trying
remember
to
like I
use.
remember 2 years ago, it was like everyone was talking about that as being the big thing. And the kind of DeFi sort of kind of reminds me of that in a way. Is it different? Or are you gonna show me how it's better in a way? Or is it,
Yes,
you get where I'm going?
remember that the Bitcoin blockchain it's just focused and specifically designed to make payments, right? So the Lightning Network just tries to reduce the transaction times and just accelerate these payments between nodes and then process
Okay, okay.
the payments faster. But in the DeFi sector, in Ethereum sector, it's not only payments, but we want to see its derivatives, its prediction markets, its insurance, it's different types of applications, and the Lightning Network it tries just to make transactions faster. And I'm not really sure if they can also build on top of the Lightning Network. Do you know if Mark? What about the Lightning Network updates? Do you know anything about the latest updates?
Well, the thing with Lightning Network is that you need some other features to run Bitcoin payments over Lightning Networks. It's not like a solution inside of the main protocol. So not all the wallets or not all the exchanges have update to this new feature. So it is difficult to adopt in a massive way this new feature because all the companies or all the community need to update to implement Lightning Network. So it is one barrier around this solution. And DeFi, in the other hand, runs over Ethereum. So all the ecosystem and all the projects that are being developed are over Ethereum because of the smart contracts that actually Eduardo is explaining. And besides all the payment solutions that some of them can compete with Lightning Network, there are a lot of other complicated solutions that you can program because of the functionalities that Ethereum provides and Bitcoin don't.
Yeah, so yeah,
Awesome.
basically
Thank you.
Bitcoin blockchain is more focused on the store of value and payments between people that are literally putting all their money or some a part of their wealth there. So this Bitcoin it's literally resembling the function of gold. So Ethereum in the other way, it's more programmable and you can build a lot of applications that we're gonna see. That the main backbone, as I tell you here, the backbone of all DeFi protocols and all the applications that are built on the Ethereum blockchain are basically the most important part is the smart contracts. So what are smart contracts? these are self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement between buyer and seller being directly written into lines of code. So these are specific actions that have to happen in a transaction. So this smart contract is executed. And all these requirements for the smart contract to execute are written in code and are written in the blockchain. One of the first one of the pioneers of all these smart contracts was Nick Szabo. And this guy was an American computer scientist who invented a virtual currency called Bitcoin, right, in 1998. And he defined smart contracts as computerized transaction protocols that execute terms of a contract. Basically, smart contracts render transactions traceable, transparent, and irreversible. And also, they can store crypto assets and thereby assume the role of a custodian with entirely customizable criteria for how, when, and to whom these assets can be released. So basically, the smart contracts allow transactions, allow a different set of activities that are performed in the blockchain to be secured and backed by code. So it's very interesting to see how many smart contracts are being built right now on top of Ethereum. And all these protocols have a lot of smart contracts that allow all the interoperability between the different platforms. So we're going to see the DeFi building blocks and the different layers that DeFi has, and also how all these smart contracts interact with each other, right? So it's very interesting to see how these smart contracts provide different specific requirements to execute different set of transactions. So as I tell you here, DeFi has different building blocks, and all of these are interconnected. So basically here, this is a very technical definition of all these multi-layered architecture, it's called. And every layer has a distinct purpose. As we tell you, as the blockchains have different purposes, in the blockchain Ethereum, every layer has a different purpose, and the layers built on each other can create an open and highly composable infrastructure that allows everyone to build on, rehash, or use other parts of the stack. It is also crucial to understand that these layers are hierarchical and they are only as secure as the layers below. So the main layer is the settlement layer. This is the Ethereum blockchain. Then on the top of Ethereum blockchain are the asset layer. So here there's the smart contracts of specific tokens are deployed. So here are the tokens are created, and then these tokens will perform one specific function. There's different types of tokens. So there's the security tokens that are backed by a specific asset. There's utility tokens, that these utility tokens are specifically to use a platform. So these utility tokens are called utility tokens because they work as the engine to make all these transactions on that specific application. And also after that, the tokens are ready and the tokens are in the asset layer, then we have the protocol layer, and we have different use cases such as an exchange. Of course, we need a place, we need a marketplace to exchange our tokens. If we have Ethereum, but we like the Uniswap protocol and we want to invest on the tokens, then we can go to a decentralized exchange and just swap our tokens, our Ethereum tokens for Uniswap tokens. Or lending, we have also different lending platforms that allow us to use our cryptos and put them to work, such as if we were going to the bank and just deposit our money for a specific rate, right? So we're lending our assets in exchange for an interest rate. And then there's also derivatives such as options. There's derivatives. The derivative markets right now are very interesting on the blockchain because right now they are using real world events to bet, right? So the prediction markets are one example of the derivative. So for example, there's this Augur platform. So it says, for example, do you think Ethereum is gonna be over $2,000 after, I don't know, November? And then you can buy these specific tokens if you are betting that yes, it's gonna be over $2,000 or no, it's not gonna be. And the higher the value of Ethereum goes, then the specific token, if you betted that yes, Ethereum is gonna be after higher than $2,000, then that specific token is gonna go up in value, right?
So it'd be like a November call option.
Exactly, this is a call option, and there's also real world events that can happen in this blockchain, right? And also,
where do you trade these?
The derivatives, there's different platforms. One of
Like
the
somebody
most
listening
common
right
ones
now,
is
what website can they go to
Augur.
trade?
Excuse me?
So if somebody listening right now wants to go trade them after listening to this, where can they go trade them?
They can go here to Augur platform and then just start trading. So you have to connect your wallet. So the best thing to do is use Google Chrome, download MetaMask wallet, and then buy tokens on a centralized exchange. It could be Coinbase, it could be Binance, and then send those tokens to your MetaMask wallet, and then just connect your MetaMask wallet to this application, and then you can just start trading now and start betting on.
Well, let's say, what about somebody who's not doing the whole MetaMask thing? They're just using Coinbase. What's the best way to trade DeFi there? Because that's essentially what I'm doing right now. And I've talked to you about it. You got me into one that's been pretty good. What's the best way of doing that?
What's the name of these prediction markets that I forgot the name right now? Actually, the guys from Wall Street Bets are promoting a lot this site, but I just forgot the name. Do you remember, Mark? What's the name of the site that you can just buy USDC and just use these prediction markets?
Well, the main websites where every DeFi trade occurs is Uniswap, and Uniswap, 1inch, and all of these decentralized exchanges. The first step is to acquire ETH. So you can buy ETH in Coinbase, for example, and then you can go to any decentralized exchange to buy these tokens. And well, talking about stocks, you can, yes, you can go to those other exchanges like FTX that accept crypto, and you can buy stocks with crypto. FTX, BitMEX, I think it has some options, and
yeah,
you know more about that.
FTX is a very good platform too, and the only thing you have to do is create an account, just send some cryptos to this wallet from maybe Coinbase, because from Coinbase you cannot perform a lot of applications, right? So basically in Coinbase you're storing your crypto. Actually you can also deposit them and stake them, and I think there's an option to stake your coins on Coinbase, but that's one of the only applications that you have available on the Coinbase application.
So when you're buying into a DeFi, you're essentially buying into a protocol that is going to develop on the DeFi network. Am I right?
Exactly, yeah.
So if you're buying Uniswap tokens, you're essentially, that's like buying in a way, if I'm wrong, let me know, but how I interpreted it is like essentially buying equity in like an exchange in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Literally is that the more demand there's for these tokens, then the higher the price is going to go, right? And also a very important aspect of to see if it's an investment or not is to check the supply of it, right? So for example, Uniswap, in order to go to check what's the possibility and the price.
And you can buy this one on Coinbase, right?
Yes, you can buy Uniswap on Coinbase. There's different tokens that are available on Coinbase. You can see here, for example, in markets, if you go to CoinGecko, this is one of the best resources to check all the tokens and coins. Then you just look for all your projects, their favorite projects, and here in markets, you can see which exchanges they have available, the token is available, right?
What does DeFi do better than T0? So, we're invested in T0 over stock for that reason, but they're getting their heads beat on a clobber. And I think this DeFi thing is one of the catalysts for it, because it's sort of a shortcut without having to go through T0. Am I right?
Yes, I mean, Yes, what I've seen about T0 is that they are looking, they are tokenizing real world assets, right? But the only thing that is not the same as DeFi is that they are not decentralized, right? So I think if they really want to get into blockchain world, and if they really want to get into all these DeFi mania, then they have to use that their blockchain and just because right now they have a private blockchain, right? So they have
It's on
their
the Ethereum blockchain, I believe.
T0. It's on the Ethereum blockchain.
I believe so. I could be wrong. Now, I'm not a crypto nerd like you guys.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of updates on the T0, but the main thing about T0 is that yes, I mean you have to have a password. They have the KYC process, know your customer process. So you have to register. You have to put all your financial information, all your personal information, and what makes it centralized, right? So that's one of the downsides of T0 and Overstock. But there's always a possibility and a chance to change from private blockchain to a public blockchain. So
Right.
if they do that, then that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I think they're going more the commercial route, and what makes more sense to me because real life assets to a currency are much more attractable compared to, no offense to the crypto kitties, but I mean
Yes,
that
exactly.
that's bubble written all over it, right? I mean you're that's greater fool's theory written all over it. You're investing at one price, anticipating someone's going to be a bigger idiot later on in the day, buy it higher than you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do that with many
Yeah,
investments as well. But more so if you at least have a tangible asset, whether it be i.e. real estate or even art, right? Physical art like the Mona Lisa or something like that, it gives it more, I guess, a concrete, but who knows where this world's going. Okay, there was so Uniswap protocol is essentially like the exchange that you're investing in. There was one that you sent me a message on Thursday. It's like AAV something. Explain that one to everybody.
okay, yeah. So let me go to to my wallet. Let me connect my wallet so we can see actually the how it's performed. So yeah, basically what we're gonna do right now is to check how DeFi and the money market works, right? So here I have my MetaMask wallet, and basically here you go, you enter the app of Aave. This is a lending, borrowing uh,
So Aave is a protocol on DeFi.
application. Yeah, this is a protocol on DeFi, and then
Okay.
here you can deposit your tokens in order to earn these interest rates. All right, so they have different assets, and then they have different value locked in these assets. So, for example, this asset right now, it's very crazy. They are paying 42% on this USDC coin, right? So, of course, these changes. The APY it varies depending on the amount of money that is locked in, but you can see here that right now in 30 days you can make around 14% if you deposit USDC into this DeFi application, right?
So it's, let me get this right. So it's using your money to loan out to margin.
Exactly. So you deposit, and then there's a liquidity pool that it's used to lend that money to people that are looking to borrow money, right? And
Interesting.
exactly, so it's very, I mean,
Keep talking about this. You have me more interested.
and you can borrow you can borrow money, and then for example here if you want to borrow DAI, that is one of the most popular stable coins and most decentralized and secure stable coins at the moment. You have to pay an APR of 8.94%, right? So you can borrow, lend, and use this money to invest more, to use margin, or even use it as collateral
How
to
long do you have to hold it to see a return?
uh,
And it obviously varies because I'm assuming there's going to be differential on volume coming in, less volume, etc. It's not as easy as put your money in, you see this guaranteed, folks. This is something that where it kind of allows you to be the bank in a way, which I like.
yeah, I mean, it varies. I mean, if you can even deposit for 1 month and you will see returns. Like there's people that are just making this and making
Don't mind, can you show us what you've done, or if you haven't done anything yet?
I mean, yes, one of the things I did that was one of my first DeFi operations was to farm GSwap, right? So GameSwap.
Wait, what is this?
So this is the
so this is where people get confused with crypto, because now there's like all this. I get the DAI, I get Binance, Gemini looks familiar, USDT looks familiar, but then now all of a sudden you're pulling up something that looks like Discord and GameStop put together. You know what I mean?
No, this is one of the things that I did, that it was my first operation of DeFi. But yeah,
show us.
It was just to try out. I was very new.
It's not in a negative way. What I'm saying is this is why older people get confused with crypto.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what this was is, so for example, you buy a token, right? So I don't know, you want to invest in the Aave token, right? So then, you know, you are gonna hold that token for a period of time, I don't know, 1 year, 6 months, etc., right? So you sure you want to hold that token, and then you can provide that liquidity and lock up your tokens, and then they will be paying you a reward for those tokens that you lock in, right? And then this is basically a DeFi operation, right? So you provide liquidity, you put your tokens on the liquidity pools, and then they pay you depending on how many transactions are made on that pair of tokens that you're providing to the liquidity pool, right? So then, for example, here what I did was this is called also staking, right? So here you're lending your money, basically you're staking your money. It's same way to see it, but here other people are borrowing it, right? But here what you're doing, it's it's yield farming, and then you just put your tokens. For example, I bought GSwap, and then I had some Ethereum, so you add liquidity to this farm, and then you're making this 121,000%, right? So it's just crazy, but it's one application, and a lot of investors of yield farming are just looking for this. This is very risky, very risky, and you have to put very little money in these types of applications. But that was my first operation that I did of DeFi. It was very risky, very reckless, but I was just trying to learn. But here what you do is just deposit. For example, right now I have year finance. So then you deposit. I have right now 0.25, and then you go.
For all our English members, stuff is in Spanish. If you get confused, if you're like wondering why it looks all different. No, keep it in Spanish. Keep it in Spanish. You don't gotta change it to English.
Oh, here, sorry. Here, approve transaction, and then you just approve your transaction, and it's gonna send you to the MetaMask wallet. It's gonna charge you a transaction fee, right? So you just confirm, and then you just deposit your tokens here, and you're gonna be earning around in 30 days. I will be earning 3.4% of my deposit money. So
fascinating. Thank you. That was great to see. That's cool. I'll have to get into this. I'm gonna get for those listening, why is Stock Sharks doing a crypto webinar out of nowhere? It's because me and my uncle have taken on a little side project that we're doing. Just doing small investments into crypto, all different little side ones like this. This is one that we're getting into. Uniswap was one. So we've just been exchanging fiat currency into Coinbase, the daily limits and whatnot each weekend. And then we look for something, a new project or a new protocol, as he's mentioned us to here. So Aave is one Aave and Uniswap have my attention. It makes sense. Nothing too risky or heavy that we're investing, nor will we be alerting it. But it's just something that I think is fascinating. And it's like, for example, a lot of people, investors missed out on Overstock or missed out on Palantir, or we have a new one coming up with Endrel. And that's just because they missed out on it because they're uneducated on it. So I think even if you're not a blockchain or a crypto person who's really into it, it's worth taking the time to try to just learn it a bit, try to get educated, so that if, I don't know, you never know what's going to become the new normal in the future. Who knows if DeFi is going to be it? Who knows if NFT is going to be it. Who knows if Bitcoin will be it, right? Bitcoin looks to be the supreme king at the moment if you're going on a very easy way of looking at things. And it hasn't gone away despite how many people predicting it would be gone by 2020, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this who didn't invest in Bitcoin at 1,000, 2,000, 6,000, 10,000, whenever a crazy friend was recommending to buy it to you, and you wish you did. So it doesn't hurt to learn more about different things, regardless if a few people online or a few media heads say, it's crazy, or what they call Bitcoin rat poison, right? There's gains to be made, but also risk management, like any investment, needs to be applied. You don't go out and put your whole, savings into these things. They're like lottery tickets, right? So instead of, playing the lottery, why not get educated on one of these things? If the protocol and the project makes a lot of sense to you, why not? Why not take the risk and take the investment? And that's sort of what I'm doing with Aave, I hope I said that right, and Uniswap. And I hope I find more protocols and projects down the road. And I'm not doing it to obviously doing it to make money, but the main thing is to just be educated and a hedge in case these things do blow up. So you did a great job of explaining this. I don't think we need to do much more. I think this is great for a first video. If you want to go back to your slides maybe and just finish up whatever else that you prepared that you wanted to discuss, go ahead. But in my opinion, this is an A+ video. Your guests have answered all of our questions as well. So thank you for them for coming on. But yeah, I think this is tremendous.
Thank you so much, JR. Yeah, just one more thing here. This is the DeFiPulse.com website. And here you can see how much money is locked on all these protocols, right? And you can see how in the past year it went from basically $700 million to almost $40 billion, right? So this is just crazy, and people are just mistaking their money, locking their money, and locking their tokens to make like returns on the blockchain, right? And here you can also see the different applications that you have in lending, the DEXs, derivatives, payments, and assets, right? So right now, for the lending aspects, maybe Maker is the #1 with a value locked of $6.26 billion. So this is a very interesting topic. And also, if you want to invest and reduce your risk, this is one of the best options if you want to diversify your portfolio and invest in different projects. So this, for example, has it's a portfolio made out of.
Okay, I see Sushi Swap. I have to ask, what is sushi? Please explain it after you explain this, just so people know, because it's so popular and I see it like going up, people getting rich off of it. And it was something I wanted to ask. I forgot, but I see it brought up there. So before I forget, we make a note to talk about sushi after, but keep going on with that index. Thank you for bringing up that index too.
Yeah, we'll talk about sushi. It's a very interesting topic. But yeah, if you want to reduce your risk and you just want to get exposure to different DeFi projects, this is one of the best portfolios. I got in around that $90. It was great when I found it, and right now it has returned very good profits, and it has many different interesting projects and the top projects on DeFi, right? So this is one specific token that you can buy if you want to get exposure on the different DeFi projects. So yes, to go back to the presentation and just finish up with this, it's DeFi building blocks. DeFi has different, it's an architecture and it has different building blocks. And then of course we need the decentralized infrastructure. In this case, it's Ethereum. We need a decentralized stable money, and we need money that is pegged to the value of the dollar in order to get these interest rates going and all these projects available and provide more security to the investors. And then they come with the DeFi services. So you have the decentralized exchanges, the money markets where you can borrow, deposit your money, and then lend that money to other borrowers and then earn interest on the crypto loan, right? And this is called yield farming. That's another topic that is really extensive. There's also insurance applications right now. You can insure a certain amount of the assets that you have deposited on the blockchain. And then it basically connects people that are willing to pay insurance with people who are willing to insure them for a premium. So this is also a very interesting topic that is growing in a fast pace in the blockchain. So these are the different use cases we have on the DeFi ecosystem: asset management, analytics, decentralized exchanges, DeFi infrastructure and dev, decentralized lending, asset tokenization, know your customer and identity, payments, margin trading and derivatives, stable coins, marketplace, etc. Right? So there are a lot of interesting projects, but it's very important to look out, wait, what are they doing? What is the team doing? Who is behind each project? What is the credibility that they have built in the past? Even look at their social media, who are their partnerships, and then check if it's a good choice and like it makes sense to you, as you said, right? So these are most of the most common use cases on the DeFi ecosystem. Well, to end up, we're just gonna talk a little bit about the main advantages and the risks, and then that's it. So we don't take a lot of your guys' time. And then, well, the main advantage of DeFi,
Keep up the great work.
It increases the efficiency. It replaces trust requirements with smart contracts. As we said, all these smart contracts are built on code on the blockchain, and it helps eliminate these trust issues that are right now in the current financial system. Increased transparency. Transactions are publicly observable and analyzed on chain. You can analyze on chain transactions and check all the information that is happening on the blockchain without any mistakes, right? So it's very transparent and accessible, right? Also accessibility of the financial services. It can be used by anyone, create an open and accessible financial system. And this is very interesting to me with a lot of opportunities, because if you go to a unbanked region in South America, in Mexico, in Africa, then you just have a modem, you have internet, then you can bring banks and you can bring all these financial services to all these unbanked people that have been struggling to get access to this to money or financial services. So it's very interesting to explore this aspect. Also composability. As I said, these are like Lego pieces that are composed and are interconnected. Each layer has their own purpose. And this allows the creation of new financial services and new applications on top of the different ones already existing, right? So it's very programmable and it has a lot of opportunities to grow, and it's very extensive. So what are the main challenges of DeFi? The main ones are smart contract execution. There's always a possibility that there's coding errors. There's the smart contracts are not written as they should be, and this causes errors, and maybe the smart contract is not executed as it's planned. So that's one of the main challenges to solve. You can audit each contract. It's available to audit. So if you want to see what is how's the contract, you want to read the contract, then it's available to everybody, right? And then the operational security. Some DeFi protocols and applications use admin keys, and these keys allow predefined groups of individuals to operate the contracts and perform emergency shutdowns, right? So this causes like dependency, and they have a lot of power. If they have a lot of tokens and they have a lot of control over their platform, then this is a problem and a challenge that they are trying to solve, right? So the best thing to see is the tokenomics, how much of the stake of the project the creators have, and see if they can cause a shock in the prices of the project that you have. And also the dependencies. The composability feature introduces dependencies, right? If there's an issue with one smart contract, you may have a wide-reaching consequence for multiple applications. So if one smart contract goes wrong, and then it's built on the fourth layer of the blockchain, then you can get more errors on the other layers too. So that's one thing that it's one of the challenges to solve. Also the external data. Right now they are trying to use oracles to provide the best information and most accurate information. And then these smart contracts also depend on data that is outside of the blockchain, that is off chain. So this can cause like a centralized contract execution and just create this transparency issue that is not too good, because it's off chain and it's not on chain, right? And then the scalability, that is one of the main problems right now with Ethereum, because it's generally regarded as relatively secure, but the transaction fees and the slow transactions, because of the high demand of the transactions right now, are causing Ethereum and some of the DeFi applications to have very expensive fees to explode these contracts, to execute these contracts, right? So those are the main challenges that DeFi is facing right now. And I mean, there are a lot of projects and a lot of teams working to solve these problems and generate this mainstream and the adoption of the smart contracts and DeFi. But yes, also open banking is one of the last things, and just compare DeFi with open banking. I don't know if you, JR, have heard about this open banking system and what they are trying to do with the open banking system.
Tell me more. I may have heard of it, but I'm doing so much, I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, this open banking, it's built on the top of the traditional financial system, and the only thing they want to do is build these APIs, and these APIs will connect a lot of banks between each other, and then generate different financial products that will be connected between all the information available in the traditional banking system, right?
That sounds stupid. The bankers are going to fail on that one.
Yeah, so they are trying to do this, and then I mean, DeFi, however, proposes an entirely new financial system and architecture, and is independent of the current infrastructure. And I mean, and DeFi is also sometimes referred as open finance, right? So I mean, that's it, JR. That's the
amazing stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming on. Send me the recording of this when it's done, and we'll get it edited up, make it look all pretty. So yeah, beautiful stuff. We'll definitely have to do a #2 video on some other